Hello and welcome back. Thank you for being there. Here we are. Let me see, as always, I'm going to keep the monitor on and see if I'm coming out okay. Let's see. Has some delay, you know. So I have to wait. There we go. There it is. That's all good. Audio seems fine. We're all good. Have all the levels here. Seem okay. So yes, coming out fine. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you so much for accompanying us yet again another day. I'm sorry about the wait. Yeah, I know I should have come here at 7, but yeah, life happens, you know. Yeah. And yeah, it's always around 7:30, you know. Around this time I'm going to be here. So if I plan around 7, well, happens however it happens. As always, these things are like that. Oh, nice, we have a new follower there on Twitch. Thank you, Larlius. And what else we have? Yeah, because I get the notifications down here on the phone now. You know, it's complicated. It's complicated. Even then, it's complicated. I don't always get the notifications, but hey, I'm here now. I'm here now. Thank you so much for being there again. And please leave a like, leave a follow, subscribe, all that. You know what helps the streams and all this. So yeah, please, if you don't mind, it really helps. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I made a mistake there. Sorry, I should have pressed something else, and I pressed this thing. Okay. Yeah, I'm playing around, fooling around with this. There we go. All right. Let's. I don't know. The numbers are fluctuating. I don't know how many people we have on there on YouTube, how many people we have on Twitch, but we are streaming on both. So thank you to everyone there on both platforms. Let's go straight ahead and into programming mode. I'm gonna get my glasses on today. I'm gonna see if let's put glasses on. Yeah, see the glasses if they don't bother the light, because the reflection with the light, it bothers me so much. It bothers me so much. It makes me mad. I don't like it. So yeah, but I think it's gonna be fine today. I think it'll look nice. I think it'll look sexy. So I'm just gonna use them today. I don't care. I don't care today. Hello, friend Master 2000. Thank you so much for being there, and thank you for saying hello. Thank you for writing there in the chat. You know, be like friend Master 2000 and talk in the chat there. Thank you so much, mate. And it's good to see you too. And let's hope we can have a nice little stream today. Oh yeah, let's get this thing going. Let's get this party started. You see, when I do this, I get the light. The light thing is it starts reflecting on my eyes. No, I don't like it. I'd rather be glassesless than have that light bothering me. But let's make my mustache go the right way, and let's get started. All right. Yes. So we're gonna come here and do. Do I have this? Yeah, I have this on. Yes, I have everything prepared today. Oh, we have Sweet Torment 007. Let's go. Yes. Thank you so much for being there. Nice to see you. Nice to have you there. First time seeing you here. Really good. Really nice to have you all here. I'm sorry I couldn't come here last Thursday. You know, as you well know, last Thursday we had technical issues around the world, around the globe, with Google services and all that. So even Twitch had problems. So I couldn't even go on Twitch. And I talked to Restream, and they said, it's on other platforms. We're having issues all day. And well, I was pretty mad. I thought it was them. I got mad at them, but no, they were not at fault. It was everything. It was everything around the world going nuts, absolutely nuts. So yeah, here we are. We're back here again, and thank you so much again for everyone, for being there. We're gonna go ahead now. I'm gonna start developing this thing. We're gonna start working on our game, as we usually do, and we usually go on and do all the things, like talk about all the things I'm building and all that stuff. But today we're gonna go straight into development mode. I've had a terrible day, so this is gonna be a bit of a release. This is gonna be a bit of a moment of, a bit of a religious moment with you. As always, you are my religion. Being here with you is one of the rights of this religion for me. So thank you for being there and accompanying me to this mass. The mass development. What the fuck's going on with this chair? Fucking hell. Yeah. It's cursing already. Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah. Oh yes. So we start with the holy mate. Yes, we start with the holy mate, brought to us by, fucking hell, it's closed. Oh my god, what the fuck? It's closed. Yeah, just open it up there. Yeah. So we start with the holy mate, first one, and oh no, fuck. I'm tripping all over. Oh no. Fucking hell. Yeah. And making a mess. I'm making a mess here. Fucking hell. Why? And this has been my day today. It's been beautiful. And let's see. Now, still nothing. These things have a precise opening moment, and then they have a precise dripping moment, dripping everywhere moment. and you have to just get it right. And if you don't get it right, just boom. Yeah. Thank you so much. Brought to us by our friends, the Guaranis. Thank you so much to the Guaranis that in Paraguay. Well, it's now Paraguay. They didn't live in Paraguay, did they? They used to live in free Guarani land. Oh, friend Master 2000 says, I've been looking at Rogue Rapier integration. I think I found a small bug. Very nice. Thank you so much. Let us know what the bug is. Better yet, I would say the best way to report these bugs is if you go into the Discord channel, and we can like go back and forth, with code, because you can, leave like snippets of code, and I can give you a snippet of code. Like if there's a workaround that I can give you, like temporary workaround or something, I can leave a snippet of code or something for you there. But yeah, it'll be brilliant. Let me know. Let me know what it is. I'd be happy to help you. 100%. But yeah, there's a channel for that in the Discord channel, in the Discord server. We have a Discord there, and you can find the Discord in the rogueengine.io, and you'll find there the Discord icon there, and you can click on that, and that'll get you straight to our server. It's beautiful. It's really, it's truly a beautiful place where we are all happy, and it's like happy land. We're all very nice. I promise you. We're all very cool people. I post about it in the Discord. Thank you so much, mate. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate it. It really helps. Oh, if you find a bug, be like friend Master 2000 and report it and tell it to me. Tell me, hey, this doesn't work, because I won't know until I find it otherwise. So if you find it first, let me know. Let me know how I'm really happy when people find bugs, because it's obviously best if the bug didn't exist in the first place, but if it exists, I want to know about it. I want to know that it's there, and and it's a cool thing. All right, thank you so much, friend Master 1000. And yes, you can see the comments here, so whatever you write here, you'll be here at top here in the top view there. So yeah, don't forget to keep commenting, and leave a like and a follow, and if you're on Twitch, and a subscribe, and all these things. It really helps. It's 2 past midnight where I live. Oh my god, where is that? That's incredible. That's very late. Well, it depends, right? It depends. Oh, I promise to view this video first thing tomorrow. That's okay, Sweet Torment 007. It's great to have you here. Anyway, thank you for joining us at such a late hour. It's great to have had you for this brief span of time. Cheers, mate. And yeah, don't forget to come back and watch it later. Leave us a comment there. Thank you so much, mate. And yes, let's go and start talking game design, because we talked a lot about this game design stuff that we need to do. Should we go with game design? Because I was asked the question the other day on Discord, and I thought maybe I should come here and go in and maybe show you some nice little trick. And because I realized that maybe I never spoken about this before on anywhere really, other than in documentation and other things like that. So maybe I should come here and explain how some of this stuff works. So you see how here we have the game logic, right? We have this component here, and what someone asked me was, how can I add a shape, right? And I want to add it into my like a 3 shape, right? Like a triangle. They want a triangle, and for that you need a 3 shape. And this guy wanted to add the shape into the scene directly, right? and you don't have shapes here to build like that, you know. So you just have these primitives. But if there's something here you're missing, like, okay, you don't have some of this stuff here in your yeah, you just some of the stuff here, it's not what you need. There's something you can do. Yes, sir. I'm going to show you what you can do. So the suggestion I gave him was the following. I said, well, you can use a button. And this is a great trick, great knit trick. If you like building like components for you that are like this little bit of a platform for you to add stuff into your scene, like if you've been following some of the stuff we've been seeing, like Dan Rem built this terrain builder component where he goes out and builds his whole generates the terrain and adds all these things randomically in the scene, like with textures and with things like that. And what he does is he adds a button, right? And you can add a bunch of things to the you can add a bunch of little properties here with all the values and all that stuff. So he added all these little values and stuff. By the way, go there, go look at MapGen by I'll probably, I don't know if I'll leave a link in the description, or you can find it easily in the Discord. If you go into the Discord, if you go into the forums, you'll see the MapGen stuff and you'll find it there surely. We need to turn that into an extension because it's beautiful. It's amazing the work Dan Balrain has done there. But yeah, let's focus on this. So if you want to add things into your scene directly from a button in the editor, right? That's the cool thing. You can do this in the editor. Let me show you how it works. You can add this. Yeah, you say re props that button like that, right? And this takes a function. So you say, let's call it my button, okay? And this is a function, right? You can add it like this. I like doing it as a narrow function because this is in theory a field. So I like to treat it as a field. I like to be explicit on it being a field. But this is just a matter of me being like that. You could definitely just do it like this, right? I think, yes, probably. But yeah, let's do it like this because this is explicitly a field, and I think it works best in that way. So, but let's do it like this. So, we say my button. My button is a function, and when we press that button is going to do something, right? And then we can do my button label. We create a property like this, and we say my button like that, right? Otherwise, our button is going to be called my button like this. Yeah, it's just going to have this my button as a name, right? It's just going to use the name of the function. So yeah, and what we're going to do with my button is we're going to say re.debug.log. I'm going to say hello world. Okay, we're just going to do that. And so we come here to the scene. We have a game logic, and we have my button here. You see that with the just as we wrote it there. And if we come here to the console, it print hello world, and we're doing that in editor mode. You see, so now let's do something more fun here, okay? Let's, instead of this, let's do re. If you do, usually when you're working like within your scene, when you're working with the scene, say, when you're working with the scene in play mode, you would use re.runtime.scene, and you can add things to your scene this way, okay? But since we want to add things in the editor, what we're going to do is we're going to say re.app.current scene. This is your current scene within the app, right? And the app is whatever's running right now, right? And that means for Rogue Engine means that, say, this is the app, okay? This is the app. Rogue Engine is working with the Rogue Engine app. I know it's confusing, but it's like it's a bit of a snake eating its own tail in a way. I don't know, but Rogue Engine being run, within a Rogue Engine app. Basically, this is what's happening here. So what we do is, I would say app current scene is the current scene that is running, which is the editor scene, unless we're playing, in which case it will be the scene in runtime, right? So the same thing goes for app.scene controller, right? If we're playing, right, if we're in runtime, this will be, oh no, what did I do? Yeah. So, I can't. I pressed 0 instead of the arrow. If we're in runtime, right, this would be equal to re.runtime. So these two would be the same. This would be true, and this would be false if we are in the editor. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. The scene controller is the runtime when you're playing the scene, and it's an editor runtime when you're not playing the scene. So, right, if you say scene controller.scene, that is also whatever. I meant to delete this. So this scene, right, it's going to be the editor scene, right? So when we are in edit mode, it'll be the editor scene, and when you're in play mode, it would be the play scene, right? Whatever scene is going to be playing when someone plays your game. But yes, that there's a shorthand for that, which is scene current scene. Okay, so app.current scene, and we can add things to these, right? So we can say add, right, or append, right? One of the two works anyway. But we can just say const object 3D. I'm going to call it. We can say, do we have 3 here? Yeah, we have new 3 object 3D, right? We can say object 3. We're going to call it name. We're going to call it hello world. World. Okay, we're going to give it that name, and we're going to add it here. Okay, so every time we press a button, we're going to add this object 3D to the current scene, right? So we can add it there. You see them coming here to the being added here to the hierarchy, right? And as we press the button, another one shows up. And yeah, I think that's an interesting thing, because you can create your own tools for world building, for doing anything you want, really. You can integrate with any sort of tool, with any sort of package, and create your own tooling and extensions and things that you want for Rogue Engine. If there's something that you only want to run in the editor, right? You don't want that to be part of the build in of the Rogue Engine build. You wouldn't do it this way, right? You wouldn't do it in a component that is here, directly here. You would do this in an editor component, and you can find. Let's look at one of the editor components that we already have to show you how that works, because I think we have one that is quite interesting here, and that is our rapier body wireframe. You see here, when I click on this object, you can see this wireframe for the sphere collider. This is actually a debug of the sphere collider that is being run by this component here, the rapier wireframe. This is open source, by the way. You can check it out. This is the rapier extension, right? So in the rapier component, in the rapier extension, you're gonna find this component here, and it's always going to show you all of the debugs for whatever you have added to your component. Like in this case, it's showing us the collider, like this little collider, the rapier ball, and this bigger collider, right? this other rapier ball, and you see how it shows us everything below this character, right? So if we click on this character, it will show us all the colliders within that character. So that's what that editor component is doing. How we create one of these? Well, first of all, we added to a folder called lower dash editor, right? I think it's called low dash. I think, yeah, low dash editor. I'm sorry, I'm English is not my mother language. I'm sorry. I always use that as an excuse. Maybe I should know that. It's called low dash, and one thing we do is I'm opening it here, just to show you what it does, right? We did some modifications that we're going to be pushing. I don't think I pushed this already, so we are certainly going to push this. But one thing this is doing is this is let me see where the important part is. But you see, it's not a big component. It's not a massive component. It's fairly small. It's mostly initializing things. The lines for the components wireframes. Let me see if you can see here. Okay, so when it starts, let's start here. So it works like a regular component, okay? But you have to declare the static isEditor component equal true property. This will make your component an editor component immediately. This means that the component will be immediately added to the editor as a component that you can use within the editor, right? I mean, the component will be run within the editor if it's there. Okay, this will be part of the editor. This will integrate with the editor directly all the time. And it's going to, every time the component is initialized, it will run the start method. It will run the awake method. It will do all those things. It will work exactly as a regular component because it works with the same infrastructure as a regular component. But it works within the editor, so it's working on runtime, on editor runtime, right? So this is a component like they're usually like any of these components that you have that run in runtime mode, but this is running on editor runtime mode. So yeah, only these components can run on editor runtime mode. That means that the after update or the update and all those methods, it means that all of them are actually this means that all of the life cycle functions like start, update, and all that are running within the editor's life cycle. Like after update is after update within the editor's loop life cycle, right? Because this is running a regular game loop like any game. So the after update is part of that game loop, right? It's the after update of that game loop. So that's an important aspect of how Rogue Engine works and how you can use this to build your own tooling around Rogue Engine, right? And yeah, I think that's quite powerful. It's quite powerful, very, very powerful, very nice, very cool. And I think you'll find it useful. I'm pretty sure you'll find it useful. Because once you start digging in and you think, oh, I need this, you can actually build it and just add it as part of your development process, and it'll really make your life a lot easier. Like in this case, in the start, it's initializing, is making sure that it's initializing all the properties and all that, then doing the what's it doing? Oh, yeah, I'm making the frustum cult of the lines falls, right? I'm freeing up the world, so I'm doing a bit of a cleanup, you see, like to do a reinitialization, because here I'm initializing the physics, right? I'm doing it physics then, so you don't have to do all this because I'm already doing it for you here in the editor component, in the start directly. Every time it starts, it runs all of these, gets it out of the way, and it handles all the stopping all of the different listeners that that are running every single time, right? Because here, for instance, as you can see, we are running the onComponent added and onComponent removed system. This means that events, because every time we add a component, we want to reset this handler, right? See, here we go. Let me show you what that's doing. Right? We're checking. This means that we check if the component is a Raber collider, right? And we come here and we set up the imposters. So the imposters are actually the lines themselves, right? And we're setting up those lines every time we add or remove a component or something like that. You see, so this is more or less how it works. It sets up the listeners so that every time you add the component, these things happen. But it's also setting up the imposters for everything, like in the whole scene. Like, let me show you. Well, it's adding the lines here. And where is it? Yeah, here you go. So it's, yeah, basically it's doing that. I don't want to bore you with details of this component. You can get down there and read it, and you'll get everything that's going on there. But yeah, I think it's quite interesting that you can sort of use these things for yourself to figure out how to do editor components, right? And all you need is really this to create an editor component, and then you use the start, awake, the update, the after update, whatever you need for your editor component to do stuff in your scene. That's pretty cool. Oh, we have Unexpected 212 there. Thank you so much for joining us, mate. And we have Friendmaster 2000 asking, can you help me understand something about the engine? Yes, mate. Ask away. Just ask question. By the way, if you have any questions, ask me, please. Let me know if you need anything. If there's anything you want me to clarify, there's no problem. I have no problem clarifying. That's why I'm here. And that's why I decided suddenly to start talking about, this thing. When someone asks a question and I can take this time from the live streams to answer them, I think it's a win-win, it's because I use this live stream for something useful, and you get, the all these things. I don't understand on play and on stop. I don't understand what it takes and what it returns. Could you clarify for me? So on play and on stop are listeners. They are not. They're not supposed to take anything other than a function, right? So they take a function and they return a handler that'll help you remove it, like stop that handler. Like for instance here, let's see, we have onPlay, right? So onPlay, this is what onPlay takes. What it takes is a function. You see that this is an arrow function in JavaScript, right? This could be function something, right? But when you do an arrow function, you keep this. I don't know. I will assume that you're familiar with JavaScript, but in case you're not, or in case someone else watching isn't, this only allows to keep the context of these. So that this is talking about this component and not this function, right? You see what I mean? Because in JavaScript, that may change if you add like a regular function here. So in order to pass in a function that keeps the context of this, you pass in an arrow function, and that simplifies this very, very easily. And so what it does is it returns an object that has a component, a little property called stop. And so what you do is handle on play and say stop. Okay, so you stop it when you stop that either before adding it, like in this case, I'm just stopping it before. I'm just saying, okay, stop before adding it, because I assume that if it restarts, right, I want to stop the previous one if I have one first. And in case, like for instance, you know that the component will be removed and you want this listener to be removed, you can do it on on before object removed or on before. Let me see if I have some handlers here on one of these, because I think I may have some here on before removed. So before removing this component, I am I'm stopping the handler there. So I'm making sure that the handlers are like the listeners are always closed, and that they're not still listening to events after the component is removed, because obviously you don't want that to be creeping in there into your code, into the stuff you're doing. Opera Master says, yes, I'm a web developer actually. Well, yeah, brilliant. You probably got that then very easily. Absolutely. All right, let me know if that was simple there, if that was understood, if I explained myself well. I think it was fairly clear, but let me know. You can also do it this way, as well. You already know this, but for anyone who may not be familiar with, you can just create a function like this, right? And another function, and then call it here, right? Just assign it here, pass it on as a parameter. So that's what it's basically doing here. Instead of writing the function inline like this one, we're just passing it in as a parameter, a function that we already have, so that we don't have to, this is in this case both are the same function. Yeah, but that's what it's basically doing. Yeah. Let me know if that was clear, mate. If that helps at all, be happy to give it another go if that wasn't a clear enough explanation, which could perfectly fine be the case. I think I have a bit of a stutter sometimes. So yeah, sorry about that. I hope you were able to understand that explanation, that bit of a jumpy explanation, I guess, bit of here and there. But yes, and everyone else watching, if you like what you're learning, if you like what you're doing here, let me know, and leave me a like and subscribe and all that. It really helps, really helps. So do it. Thank you. And yes, what else? No, what we're going to do, yeah. So I showed you how you can use buttons like that, Yeah, I have buttons now, And what's cool is that you can do whatever you want with these buttons, really, You can really do whatever you want with these buttons. For instance, let me show you. Like you can find things in your scene, right? Because this is, oh, sorry. I think I touched something here. Did I touch something? Yeah. Okay. Let's not do anything with this. Okay. Like, since you have access to your scene here, you can do other stuff. Like, for instance, you can really go nuts, because this is your scene. This is your actual scene. So you can find something in your scene, like say, for instance, we want the environment, right? We want the environment. Let's add cubes to our environment, right? So say my button is actually going to add cubes, right? So we're going to call this, instead of this, we can create a new 3 mesh, okay? I'm going to do new 3 box geometry, and it's going to be, yeah, the default box, just 1 1 1 1 and all that, with the default material, all that. And what we're going to do is we're going to add it, instead of to the current scene, we're going to find the environment, and the environment was in re-app.current scene. We're going to find it by its name. Was get object by name. I'm going to find it's called environment. Right, I think we called it that. Yeah, we called it environment. And if we find environment, right? So if we find environment, we're going to add our object, right? This is a conditional here. We're saying if we find environment, do this, you know, it's just a neat little way to write that down, right? It's the same as doing, you know, it would be the same as doing if, and like that, right? But yeah, why do that if you can do that? Okay, so yes, we do this, and now we come here, and instead of adding here, let's bring it up here, and let's see how they get added to there to environment. You see, because you have full access to this full thing, right? So you can do whatever you want. You can truly do. You can find an object here and apply things to it. That's why it's cool. You know, that's why it's really nice. And same thing you can do from an editor component. What matters is always remember, use app current scene. Don't use runtime scene as you would use runtime.scene. It's a scene in play mode because runtime is the actual runtime. The runtime is what's playing in play mode. So that's you know, very important detail that you should always keep in mind. Yes, that was very helpful. Thanks, says friend Master 2000. Thank you so much. Thank you for asking the question. And if anyone else has a question, as always, I'm here to help. I'm here to, you know, be your Rake Engine guru. Yeah, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you. You either become good at this or you become good at this. There's no excuses. Zero. Exactly zero excuses. You'll be the best. Yes, sir. My dream is starting slowly to come true. You know what I want from Rogue Engine? I'm seeing people build things with Rogue Engine. Tooling even that I can't build myself. Like that I would struggle to build myself. That's like wow. Like MapGen, the MapGen thing just blew my mind. Or the people doing all the VR stuff, you know, I'm still getting the hang of it. I have my headset, but really I have so much work to do with all the stuff that I haven't yet like sat down and said, okay, we're just gonna build VR stuff. But people are building VR stuff and they, you know, XR stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. This is really cool, and I'm impressed how fast they make it. I'm impressed how fast they make it, and it really, you know, blows my mind. So thank you very much to everyone building stuff and helping out there, you know, with just showing it to everyone. It really helps. Yeah, every time you publish anything Rogue Engine, and you know, helps a lot. Yeah, and to people buying licenses, I mean my heart goes out to you, really. I mean, thank you so much. You are the reason Rogue Engine is staying alive. I mean, Rogue Engine needs economical, you know, it needs to thrive economically to keep surviving, because that's true. That is true. Rogue Engine needs, as any project, any one of these projects, it needs economic support to survive. And right now, the people buying the licenses, you are the ones supporting the engine. And yeah, because before that it was just me and my pocket, you know, and that's, you know, it's just why not? So yeah, not a good end to that otherwise. So thank you so much, truly thank you so much. By the way, there will be changes to the licenses. I'm going around some things there, and there will be changes because when I add the new stuff, there will be some changes. I think it will be favorable. I think it will be more interesting for more people to join in. People that perhaps are now maybe scared about the full price and all that. So I'll make some changes to that, and I'll, you know, get back to you with with the new structure. But yes, it's going to change mostly in the contents, in what the licenses have. Yeah, but that will be interesting, I think. But yes, let's go back to game development. I think this was fun, but we don't need this, so thank you very much. Goodbye. And let's come here, and yeah, let's just run. Oh no, that's not our scene. Let's reload our scene here. The scene we had. This is our actual scene. So you saw I added all that stuff, and now just simply double click on this scene, and it comes back up, the scene we had, our default scene, our main scene. Yes, let's build our game. So we talked about game design the last time. And the thing we talked about was we discussed how can we generate a proper combat system. And the reason behind this talk was because we have a state machine here, basically, for our minions. Let me show you what we have. I think that's more important right now, right? Because if you haven't been following this, we have these minions here that fight each other, right? They are not really fighting right now, but they're following each other. They're engaging each other. And these ones, right, they're just coming towards the other enemies. We have these guns that we can add, these turrets. Let's add, energy here, energy weapon, cannon. We can boom, we can just blow our enemies apart and all that. And you see how they come here and start fighting. So they engage. We need to add the attack animations, right? And we need to add the weapons that hold those attack animations, or in a way that activate the attack animations. Because on one hand, we're going to have the animator, right? And it's going to have the different actions for that and those animations, and we're going to have to trigger them. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out first how to attack, right? Because we're going to attack blindly right now without the animation, so that when we add the animation, right, we can make it work for any animation, right? So if we're looking at a specific animation and we're doing it with the animation, we won't know really where the attack is coming from still, right? So we need to know where the attack is coming from, who's controlling the attack. These are important game design decisions, because mostly when we're talking about a platform that we're going to use for all kinds of different games, like this one, that the idea is that you will be able to use it for your own game to build mostly any kind of RTS or tower defense, like in this case. So it's going to work for an RTS or a tower defense game. In that case, what you need is a distance to start engaging. You need the engaging mode, right? That's what the state machine is doing, right? It's telling us to attack if we are in distance from an enemy, right? If we have an enemy in range, we go in and engage that enemy. Sorry, no, this is attack. If you're in attack range, we attack. We actually start attacking. So we stop. We're not moving. Otherwise, if we're not in range of an enemy and we have enemies, we're just going to move, right? That's all we know. We're going to move. We don't have an engage mode. We have a move mode. We may need to change that, but for now we're okay with the move, just moving, because what we do is we simply decide, okay, if we're moving, we check if we have some sort of enemy or something, and there's a current which is going to change the current waypoint. If we have an enemy, the current waypoint will be the enemy. So all we do when we move is just move to our current waypoint. The current waypoint, right, is going to change depending on if we're moving towards a point that we selected for our minion, or if we're moving towards an enemy that we want to engage. So that's what this is doing basically, right? And we're changing waypoints if say we have multiple waypoints, right? Like in this case, the waypoints for the path, right? Like, which, as I always say, you can generate this with a star if you want. In this case, we don't need that, but we're going to have this as a sort of template, and we're going to randomize the positions a little bit. That's all we're really going to do. So just the X and the Z a little bit, just a tiny bit, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. So yes, let's come here and let's keep going. So by the way, if you're enjoying this, if you're liking this game design talk, leave a like there. Well, if you're on Twitch, you can't leave a like, can you? Just leave it, thumbs up in the comments or something. And it really helps. It really helps, at least, just to motivate me, just to motivate me to, keep doing this. That's all. That's the real thing there, it's just telling me we're okay, we're liking this. Yeah. Okay, we have, in the case of the idle, for instance, the idle state is just going to animate the idle, right? It's just going to do the idle animation. The attack state is just going to do the attack animation, right? So this is all about animations, the idle and attack. So we still don't have we still haven't added the animator and all that. So we're not going to do that yet, right? We don't need that yet. But what we are going to do here, in the case of the attack, surely, apart from the animation, is perform the attack. Now, that's one of the things that... Fern Master living hard there. Thank you so much, mate. And one thing that we're going to surely do when we attack here, we're going to need to decide where the attack is coming from. We know we're going to have a weapon of sorts, right? And this weapon of sorts is going to be, that's the key. Either the weapon is listening to the player's state and saying if the player is attacking, right? If the character is attacking, we attack, right? If character says attack, weapon attacks. Or the player uses the weapon to attack. So here we will call this the weapon attack. The thing is, if we have multiple weapons, right, we need to, when we let the player decide what to do, we need the player to either run one of the weapons saying, okay, this weapon is in range, so attack, right? Or we can just let the weapon decide if it can attack or not, right? So in that case would be the weapon says, I'm in range, I attack. And that's it. Because as I always say, if you have an archer, right? If you have an archer, I've said this in the previous live stream. If you have an archer and the archer is standing there throwing arrows at you, and, because it's in range for the arrows, then when it's in range for attacking close, close combat, it should go for close combat and not for arrows, right? So two weapons are melee and arrows, right? To like either grab the bow or I grab my sword, right? And I'm gonna do one of the two. So that's an important point, and we want to make that distinction because we want this to be an actual platform. So we're going to do that distinction. My tongue can't talk, can I? What type of object is used for the waypoints? Object 3D? Asks Friend Master again. Thank you very much for your question. The waypoints are simple object 3Ds. Yes, sir. You can see here in the on the top here. As always, if you have any doubts of what a component or anything is, you can usually see the a component, an object. What type the object is, you can find the type up here. Like the base. Yeah, like the type itself of the object, which in this case is that. And if you go to points thing, it's a group. A group is simply just an object 3D that is like semantically made to have children in three, right? In Three.js, it's used to semantically say, hey, this is to group things. So in Rogue Engine, that is used for selection. When I come here and want to select a place, you see how it selects the environment first. If an environment were an object 3D, it would go straight in and select the floor. But since it's a group, you're actually selecting the whole thing first, because it first goes for the group. Then when I click again, it selects the floor, right? So if you have like nested groups, right? If you have many, say if these trees were part of a group of trees, it would first select the group of trees, right? So we go like environment, right? Group of trees, and then the trees themselves, right? And that's how it works in general. Just to give you an example, say I bring in the let's bring in the like one of the minions inside the environment, right? So if I select the environment, you see how the minion is selected now, right? So if I select now, like let's come closer so that we don't miss. See, if we select the minion here, now we're going to select the whole minion, but the whole minion is a group. You see? So this lets you select your minions, you know, your objects in this way, where you can select the whole thing. Like in this case, we're selecting the environment. We need to click again to select the minion itself. Now we click again, and we can select like the sphere, right? And here we're selecting this sphere that is part of a group as well, right? And we click inside, we're selecting this other sphere that it has inside, right? But we're not like, otherwise, if we didn't have this, you would click here and you would go straight to this sphere. But that's usually not what you want. You don't want to go to this sphere usually. What you want is to have the minion selected. So this really helps with selection, I think. And yeah, it makes it easier to group yourself. You know, when you have a group, that's going to be the main thing you're going to be selecting. Can you have groups be children groups? Yes. I think you probably asked that before I showed it. But yeah, it's so you can have this child here as a group, right? And then you have, you know, this child's are groups, and so you can always, you know, click and go inside, you know, different group, you know, and until you reach a you know, the sphere itself, or the whatever mesh you have there. Otherwise, you would be selecting the mesh, right? So the groups are basically just there to say, you know, this is the actual thing. The mesh, it's just a piece of the thing. You know, we want to select the group, the unit of everything. Yeah, very Platonic, very Platonian, Neoplatonic. the unifying. Yeah, the unity of things. So yeah, that's more or less it. But let's bring it out here. Back. we don't need that inside of this thing anymore. But yeah, I think that was fairly clear explanation. I think how groups work, and it's a pretty cool thing, by the way. If you haven't been using if you've been using Rogue Engine for a while, maybe you don't know about this. It's, you know, pretty cool thing. I don't think I've explained it any before. So yeah, I guess you kind of find that out by yourself, which is not great. Honestly, the worst thing about Rogue Engine is my communication. The time I have to do all this communicating and doing all these things, it's just so much time. Yeah. One last question. Ask from Master. How do you open the prefab editor? I can't find that info in the docs. Oh, good question. I haven't yet updated the docs. I'm very sorry about that. You simply double click on the prefab and you'll open it here. You see? So you go in here into your prefabs, you double click, tick, 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 and there you go. You see? You can play around with them. Yep, in that way. Yeah, it works. It works. By the way, why are these? Didn't I change the ones in the scene? Maybe I didn't save the scene when I did this. Didn't I save the scene? Maybe I didn't save the scene because the melee minion should be yeah, it is normal minion like that. This one, okay, yeah. So it means that I didn't save when I did the last time. Okay, so I didn't save my scene. Okay. I'm an idiot. Let's remove these and let's bring these two in. Bing and bing here. There you go. So now we hit play and you see them fighting there. Yeah, see, this one doesn't fight because this one is not in range. You see that? So when some other of these minions get here, they'll probably fight this one because it's closer. But if we put this one like maybe around here, oh no, that this will start fighting here, I think. Yeah, I'll start fighting. But yeah, if we move this one a bit, like say here, let's see. Yeah, these two will fight, and the other ones that come in, they'll fight this one, right? I don't know. I think that's interesting, right? This distance between them can create all sorts of things. You can play around with that, right? You can play around with that. But yeah, this is how you open the prefab editor. By the way, you don't need to do that either. You know, you can if you don't need to come find it in the folders. The best way to find prefabs is in the in the asset manager. Alt A, just Alt A. You can press, or you can come here, Window Asset Manager. You can see the different commands here. Alt A, in this case, opens the asset manager here, and you can find your melee minion. Wait, what did I do? Oh, I broke. Okay, one thing I need to clarify every time. I am using a development version, like the latest development version, and usually it's broken. It has broken things. Like in this case, I think it is working, but it's not. Yeah, it's. I think I have something here that it should. Oh no, it's not broken. It's because it has melee bot here. Yeah, right. I should probably prioritize the name before the a folder name, because it's using the whole path to find something, right? Melee minion. Like if I do this, it comes here and gives me the melee minion. See that? If I have to find like friendly armor here or friendly minion, yeah, friendly minion, and you can simply drag and drop. You can double click here and it will open it here, and you can also do Alt A, and you can also drag and drop your minion from here, right? So this also helps. Yeah, this is also a good way of working with this, I guess. Yeah, let's remove this though. Yeah. Okay. I think that. Let me know if that. Great. Thanks again. Sorry for the interruptions. No way. No. Thank you so much for asking questions. This space we have here now is to ask questions. Making the game, okay? Making the game is just an excuse to come here and do something when there's nobody there, because many times there's just nobody there. It's just me. So I just have to be here doing something, don't I? So if you have questions, that's actually why I'm here. To answer your questions, to help out with anything I can. And yeah, sometimes I have to actually build a game. But we go slowly. And usually, in general, I take all these interruptions to do that. And I think answering questions is a great way to interrupt the live stream. Also when you're asking great questions like that. Great questions make for great interruptions, right? So definitely, even if it's not related to what we're doing in the game itself, it doesn't matter really if it's related or not. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that the question is good and it's thoughtful, and you need help. And if I can answer and help you out and make you more productive, or make you understand more how Rogue Engine works, then hey, I think it's a success. I think it's a massive success. So hey, yeah, keep asking questions. No worries. Don't be scared or afraid of anything, of asking or interrupting. You're not interrupting. You're actually doing what the stream is about. Yeah. All right. Yes. So if you liked the questions, the answers, everything, leave a like, subscribe, all that. It really helps me. Yeah, it helps me, motivates me even more than my Sherpa. Even more than my Sherpa. Helps me a lot. Gives me that adrenaline bump that I need. Yes. Let's see how we're doing. We're doing fine. We're doing just fine, aren't we? Yes. All right. So, as always, if anyone has any questions about anything Rogue Engine related, obviously, leave that question there. I'll answer it. No problem. I can't answer, philosophy questions probably here, but hey, we can talk about that some other time. We can talk about Plato's Republic and things like that, but not here. All right. Let's talk about this. So we have our attack state, our idle state. So who controls the attack? Who does the attack? That's what we've been wondering for a while now, and we'll answer it today. We'll leave that answer today, 100%. So what do we do? What do we do here? We're going to need a weapon component. So we created an RTS weapon component. We went ahead and did it before, haven't we? Because we've thought about this before, because we've talked about this before. We're just going through it again because I haven't been here for a week. So yeah, thanks Restream. Actually, thank you Google for breaking the internet on Thursday. My live stream day, you break the internet, Google. How dare you? Google. Don't be evil, Google. Don't be evil. Oh, so tiring to wear these things. I hate them. They look nice, but I hate them. Oh my god. So what do we do here? Okay, so we have our wake, our start, and our update. We need to figure out who's going to hold the API to attack. All right. So what we're going to do here is we don't need the awake probably. We may use the start and the update. So I'm just going to leave it there. Probably going to need some kind of attack property, attack method. Yeah, let's just do attack. Just call it attack, which is going to be the perform of the attack, the performative part of the attack, right? Just do the attack. Well, sorry, it's going to be the execution, like the trigger part of the attack. Probably the attack itself is going to be run here in the update, like frequency and all these things. So many of the things that we have here are probably going to be very much related to what we have in the shooting tower. In fact, they're going to be likely the same. Pretty sure they're going to be the same. Like, we come here to the shooting tower. Yeah, we're going to find that we have a barrel position. That's interesting. are we going to need a barrel position for our tower, for our weapon? Because think about it this way. I want you to think about it this way. Think that because we're going to have melee weapons, we're going to have we're going to have melee weapons. We're going to have range weapons, and they're going to be, the range weapons are going to be very similar to those in the towers. So it's going to be basically the same, right? So it's literally going to be the same in many ways. So that's what we said last time. Maybe the towers themselves should also be characters, but not minions. You see what I mean? So if we have a base character and we can share this sort of functionality, we can use the same weapons in the minions and in the towers, right? Where the minions, for instance, or even the towers, can have also melee weapons. And if you think about for a second about how a melee action works. A melee action will work in two ways. It will either be by instantiating a collider, say in your fist or something, and doing, okay, when you move, right? So you need a barrel. You need a barrel to show the weapon, to show, oh, here's the projectile, and we're just moving it with the animation, right? So it's a projectile that towards in the barrel, which is your fists, and then it moves towards towards the wherever the animation is moving it, right? The thing is, you don't always want your animations to decide if the attack has hit or not. Like in this case, we're not very interested in the precision of the attack, in the sense that we don't really care if the animation hits the enemy or not. What we care about is, do we actually hit? I mean, we're going to be hitting, sorry. What we care about is, are we attacking or not? That's all we care about. And are we hitting? Like, are we shooting the weapon? So we care about the frequency. And we care about synchronizing a bit the movements with the frequency of the attack, right? So if the enemy is punching, we want to punch the frequency of the attack, right? So we want to run and coordinate those animations. That's part of the character building thing that we're going to be doing later. But for now, we need our minions to have a sort of a way to perform the attacks, and a way for us to add damage in a certain frequency. And that's what we are doing with the towers, basically, right? We're shooting our weapons with a certain frequency. So perhaps what we can do is we can simply decide, okay, in this case, we are simply going to be, as we punch, right? As we throw the punches, we simply throw them at the enemy, which is simply, we treat it as a weapon we shoot. See what I mean? We treat it as a weapon we shoot. We're simply doing it in a very short range, like very close to the enemy, right? And so it's going to be the same as a gun. You see what I mean? So we can have all the same weapon, basically, right? We can make the melee weapon be the gun, right? Because it's simply shooting an invisible projectile in front of you in a certain frequency, you see? And we don't care, like, same as the gun, we don't care if the gun is, it's actually hitting you, it's actually being precise or not. The bullet is always going to be following the objective, because this is an RTS game, right? If it decides on where it's going to land, and it just lands there, right? If it says the enemy, okay, we land on the enemy and we hit the enemy, that's it. That's what we're landing and that's what we're hitting. So that's what we're doing. It's an RTS sort of mechanics. It's more probabilistics and all these things, and but it's not yeah, it's not based on precision, actual precision and physics and all that. It's just based on probabilistics and just getting there and hitting the enemy with frequency and are we hitting or not. In this case, we're always hitting the enemy because it's a tower defense. A tower defense, you always hit the enemy, basically. So that's what we're doing. It's not an RTS in itself. If you're doing an RTS, you can easily add that part, say probabilistics, right? It didn't hit or not, right? Hit or miss, and maybe run a different animation if it hit or it missed, right? Yeah, but in general, if we do bang, we slash damage. Okay, we do damage. If we want to do something more complex, like I don't know, was the enemy covering themselves? I don't know. We're going to go and shoot the enemy. Then the enemy decides if it receives the shoot or not. But this is going to be a weapon that is going to be very similar to a shooting thing. So we're going to use that. We're going to have a firing rate. We're going to have, maybe instead of barrel, we'll call it what? We'll call it origin. A projectile. There's beam there. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what we do here. Okay, so for now, this is all we're going to add this time, and we're going to have an import add all as 3 from 3, and oh, sorry, I left one space here. All right, and what else are we going to do? We're going to have a so a damage, firing rate. We're just going to call this attack rate. Attack timer. There you go. And instead of barrel, it's going to be called origin. And this is going to be, well, the projectile or the yeah, for now it's a projectile, but I don't like the name projectile. It shouldn't be a projectile. It should be, what's it called? It's the weapon, what's it called? It's the particle. Is it the particle or something? Is the I don't know. Let's call it particle. I like particle much better because it's like, yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm still not happy. We need to think of a better name for this. This is something you're going to be using. So if you think of a better name, let me know what other thing can we call it. Like because it's going to represent anything from the punch that you're shooting, right, that you're attacking with, or anything really. It could be a particle of a weapon, right, which is the gun, the bullets themselves, yeah, they are going to be the ones deciding on the attack. So yeah, so maybe it is a projectile, but I don't know. I think a projectile is something you shoot, right? If you're not shooting it, if there's something we're not shooting, we're just leaving it there. Because maybe the attack itself, like if you think of a punch, which is instantiate a collider, like boom, like that, at the range, like in front of us, and whatever it hits, or we simply hit the enemy we're attacking every so much time. We say we hit you, and that's it. Yeah. So that's important. That's important. So okay, we have a weapon here. And what are we going to do? What are we doing here in this one? We're saying being visible, being hit. So this is important. This is important. We have the timer and the fire rate. Have all these calculations that we did here. So yeah, let's do that. let's decide on the we see how we're doing select target in this case and all that with when we are on firing timer and firing rate. If we had a weapon here, yeah, if we were using the same API as the weapon, we're going to see later how viable that is. But I think it's going to be fairly viable. I think it's going to be fairly viable. But hey, we'll see that later. For now, we have that. Yeah, we don't need the start for now. We're just going to do update. And on update, what we're going to do is we're going to say that we're going to, are we going to do the firing timer thing? Because in this case, it's just adding up in the firing timer, right? It's just saying, hey, firing timer, just come here and keep adding up to the firing timer. But I'm not sure this is what we want to do here. I think the best way to handle it here is say, okay, we need to know if we can attack, right? So we need to know if our firing timer, like in this case, we just say that if attack timer is smaller equal, no, it's great. In this case was greater equal than, because I don't remember how we were doing it. Yeah, it's the other way around. Yeah, it's greater equal than the attack rate. Yeah, getting confused with the attack and fire and so well, yeah, no, because in that case we were doing it that way. Yeah, no, in this case we're going to say smaller. I'm going to say return. Yeah, that's what I intended to do. Yeah, okay. We're going to add it up as a guard instead of adding things inside the if. We're just going to add it as a guard, and then we just use it with a single. This is just to do this. You realize it's just a lazy thing in order not to have a tabbing and nesting. That's all. That's all the reason why I'm doing it that way. Yeah. So if the attack timer is smaller than an attack rate, we go away. We want the, so we probably want this attack timer, like if the attack timer when we do something is going to be 0, right? And this dot attack timer plus equal re.runtime.delta time. This is going to keep adding up to the attack timer. So every frame is just going to add the time that it passed in that frame to the attack timer. And yeah, and the attack rate is basically, the attack rate's just going to have to be something around that, something similar to, something's that makes sense for our weapon, and okay, I'm okay with that. And every time we attack, we reset the timer and we keep adding up to it, so we know, one way we can do this as well, right? If we know we have like say because this keeps adding up to the timer, right? So we don't want to add more than we need. Maybe, you could say we don't care as well. Like, this is a way in order not to, I guess, not to do extra operations. It works because you're simply adding up the time, and you don't really care. It's just a timer. And but if you wanted to have the time maxed out, right? So you don't want more than the attack rate. Yeah, we want the attack to be to reach the attack rate and stay there, right? The way you would do that is you say equals math.max, and you would say this dot attack timer plus runtime.delta time, and you would say this dot attack rate. Well, no, it would be min. you would stay with the minimum, right? But otherwise it's just the same, right? But yeah, you'll stay with the smaller one of these two. The smaller one of attack timer plus RE, the runtime or delta time. So if this is smaller than attack rate, it's going to keep that. If this is bigger than attack rate, right, this is going to come here, but it's going to be adding it every single time. So, I don't know, should we go through a min here and to keep these top the attack rate? I'm not a fan of that. So, yeah, I don't care about that, honestly. I think this is a much more efficient option. Just have that there. And in fact, we don't need to monitor this property. So we're just going to leave it like that as well. Yeah, we don't need to monitor it. I think this is a proper way to go about it. And yeah, leave a like. And yeah. Let me see what's going on. How are we doing? Let me see. Yeah, everything's doing good. Okay, so we have I think we're okay. We have some people there. We have some people on Twitch. We have some people on YouTube. That's good. That's what we want. Some people at least. So all right, we have our attack time. Attack timer and attack rate. We're resetting it every time we attack. So we are deciding whether we we're deciding whether we attack or we need to decide when we attack and how we attack. Like, who decides if the attack happens? See what I mean? So in the case of a tower defense like this, in the case of an RTS, even, when you decide to attack someone, right? You give the action, okay, you give the command to attack. For instance, think of an RTS. You give you grab an enemy, or you grab a friendly, and you say, okay, attack this enemy. So you go and attack that enemy, right? So, but that's the thing. It's just doing the decision making. The state machine is saying, okay, I've been told to go and attack. So I go into move mode, right? I need to see if I'm close to the enemy. If I'm not close to the enemy, I need to move to the enemy. But say if I'm in range, once I'm in range, I go into attack mode. So now I start attacking, right? So the question is whether we grab this RTS weapon here and attack while we're in attack mode, when we're applying the state, or whether we tell the weapon what the range is of the weapon, right? Because each weapon should have its own range, right? So the weapon itself should have the range. That's an important thing that we hadn't thought about before, and now we need to kind of think about it. Let's add it up here. reprops.num range. Okay, say let's call it 10 as well. Random number. If it were a melee weapon, it could be, I don't know, 2, 3, I don't know, 1. I don't know how much it is. But the weapon, this is to tell the weapon attack. This is to tell the weapon shoot. This is to tell the weapon, okay, you can do your thing and attack. Apply your animation, apply your thing, and do that. So that's what the weapon is for. Yeah. So we're going to do that. We're going to think about that for a second. Sorry, let's go to the minion. In the case of the minion, what's the minion doing? The minion is saying, I'm in range already. So the minion knows that it's in range. And it's saying, I need to attack. Right? Now, why is the minion deciding that it's in range? Because it has an attack range. So where is the minion? Why are we deciding for the minion what the attack range is? That's a problem. The minion has an attack range, but the attack range should be that of the weapon and not of the minion, because the minion it only attacks and only has an attack range if it has a weapon with an attack range. And if it has two weapons with two different attack ranges, we should decide which one has priority, right? So if a new weapon enters in range, we use that weapon. Perhaps that could be a way of doing it. Say, okay, if you enter in like the shortest range wins, something like that, right? Say if you enter into my bow range, right, or my gun range, I attack you with a gun, but then if you enter my melee range, I start attacking you with a knife, right? And I wouldn't be shooting you with a gun if you're like close combat, right? It's just right close to me. Maybe I wouldn't use my gun because I have something else. I have a sword with me. I have a samurai sword, and I start using my sword. So yeah, that's one thing I like to consider here, which I think is fun. I think it's fun things to consider, isn't it? Now, who's deciding this? Who the hell is deciding this for us? I need to pee urgently, so I'm gonna go to the loo. 1 second. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to the loo. Okay, just a second. Just a second. Coming back. I'm back. Here I am. I'm so sorry. I had to urgently go to the bathroom. Oh my god. I had a pretty long release. Yes, sir. Too many details. Never enough, I say. Never enough. Open book. Open book. All the details you get. All the eschatological details. All right. Okay. So, what are we doing now? Oh, we? Where were we? So the enemy, the minion, our little minion, which can be an enemy, can be a friend, can be anything, has an attack range. And that's wrong. That's wrong. I mean, it's not necessarily wrong. What's wrong is that it's preset and that we're defining an attack range when we don't even have a weapon. What decides the attack range or whether we are in attack mode is the weapon. So it makes sense that we would be deciding what the attacks that we're in an attack state is the weapon. So we should be checking our weapons to see if they are in attack range and attack from them. If our weapon API is flexible enough, we could allow for both things to work here, right? We could allow for this to work in multiple ways. We could allow for, say, if you wanted to create your own sort of minion that gets controlled by the weapon in a way, or we could allow you to have like like a system like this, probably the one we're going to be building here, where the minion is in control of the weapon, probably. I am not a massive fan of this because it means holding the weapons in an array and the minion deciding like, okay, is any of our weapons in attack range? And then the minion saying, okay, we're going to use the weapon that is, say that has the shortest range. So here we decide like what algorithmically or anyway, simply judgment call of which weapon we use. We decide, we do the judgment call for the minion and we say, okay, the weapon that is just, shorter in range, that's the one you're going to use if it's been triggered, if it's within range. That's the one you use. And yeah, maybe we could have like a little drop down when we set that up. We say, okay, if we say use shorter distance, use, priority, anything, I don't know. For now, I think that's the appropriate way to handle this. And it's the easiest way as well, because here, right now, what we're doing is we're saying, okay, do we have weapons? So if we have weapons, we do that. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we are going to get the weapons that we have on our the weapon components that we have here. That would be we don't have like pickups here, right? Like our minions are not gonna pick up a weapon or anything like that, so we don't care about say, okay, we have to add a new weapon or something like that. Like a new weapon controller or something like that. I'll switch weapons in that way. So it should be a simple weapons thing. It will not be a certainly will not be an editor thing, because we could add here an array of components, or we could add here an array of objects that represent the weapons in a way and all that, but no, that's not what we're going to do. What we're going to do is simply we're going to have a weapons weapons, and they're going to be RTS weapon, right? It's going to be an array, and we're going to do it like this, okay? Same as we have the enemies, we are going to have weapons, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to on start, because we want to make sure that everything is loaded already when we handle them. We don't really need to. We may be okay just doing it in wake, but I don't know. That's okay. Let's do how do we do this then? We need to get the weapon components, all the weapon components in our minion. So what we're going to say is weapons equals re. Sorry, let's see if I can. Do I have a function for that here? Because if I don't have a function for that here, I should create one. Like, because the get is getting just one, right? I should add a get all, like, because this is doing get the weapon, right? And you can say from this object 3D, right? This object 3D, and this will get one weapon, right? But it would be really cool to have a get all, you know, so that we can get all the weapons in this. That would be cool. We need to add that. Okay, that's something else to add for 1.0. Let's add that, okay? For now, we can do get components. I will simply do RTS weapon from this object 3D. Oh no, it's not that. That's not it. Oh, we need to filter it. Ah, right. Yeah. I'm not a fan of this. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of this. Get object components. That's the one. Yeah. This object 3D. Yeah. This is not cool. This is not cool. I don't like this. In this case, we're getting all the components of this object, and we're filtering, right? From component instance of RTS weapon. So it's simply getting those that are RTS weapons. But think how easy this would be. How much easier that would be if it were, you know, just weapons. We could substitute that line with just RTS weapons, get all these object 3D. That's what we need. That's what we need. I can't wait to add this one. I can't wait to add this one. in fact, let's just for the sake of it, let's go get all weapons and just say return and just this. Just, you know, just for fun. Why not? Why not? Let's just add it for fun. Yeah, why not? Right? This dot get all weapons. Why not? Fuck all. Who cares? We're just adding that. Yeah, one line of function. Why not? Why the hell not? Yes, we're just adding that. It's an ugly long line. I don't like it one bit. I'm not a fan of it at all. So, you know, I hate it. In fact, I hate it. Oh my god, I hate that line. Don't I have a better function for this? Am I always doing it this way? Yeah, such a bad idea. Get. Yeah, no. Ugly. So bad. No way. No. We're gonna get all the weapons like this. And this is how we get our weapons. So we're getting all the RTS weapons from our thing here. the one in front. So the first one it'll find is the one, the first one in the list. So that means, they are in order. Like, if we add them, like this is component 0, this is component 1, this is component 2, right? So the weapon would be, in this case, component 3. If we add it here, like if we add the weapon right here, it would be, so yeah, like we should add it like right here. Oh, why didn't it go in? Should have gone up here. There you go. I know that didn't work. Should probably look into that. Do we have an error there? Yeah, but it's not. No, it's not related to this. It's very old. Probably something I did wrong somewhere else. Yeah. But yeah, we have our origin there. Where's does the thing originate? What's the particle of it? And if we add another one, like our long range one, we could add it down here anywhere, right? It's just going to be, this is going to be weapon 0, this is going to be weapon 1, right? This is how it's going to work. Very simple, right? Very easy. So we don't really care about this right now. We're just going to remove this one. We're just going to use our fancy little one melee weapon. And when we get in range, we're going to start attacking. Now, the thing is, what's the attack range of these things? These things have an attack range of 3. We're going to do that. We're going to add this guy. We're going to give it a range of 3. All right, that's the attack range. And the attack rate. Let's see, what's the attack rate of our little towers here? Let's look at the attack rate of our towers. Let's save this, by the way, because we didn't save previously. Remember that we had our old minions there. Let's see the attack rate of our towers. Where's the tower? Oh, we have the turrets here. We should add the turrets to the prefabs thing there. Yeah, and let's see the prefab towers here. What's the attack rate? Oh, this one has short attack rate. Very short attack rate. Let's use the gun. What's the attack rate for this? It has an attack rate of 0.55. I think the first one has 0.5. I think. What's the name? We call it it's the first one. Yeah, 0.5. We just used the default there. Yeah, we're just probably gonna leave it there then 0.5. I think that's fine. I like the gun, like the regular gun. This one has the weapon. This one has the weapon. Yeah, 0.5. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Yes. I'm probably damage. Probably damage is going to be 1, something like that. Yeah, not too much. We don't want to be too damaging. Maybe 5. Let's use 5. Let's use 5. We need to actually hit it a bunch of times to make any damage. Probably, I don't know. We'll think about that. Yeah, we'll probably also want to have like types of damage, right? So we'll have to think about that as well. Like this is, we need to have maybe a weapon to do AD, power damage, like attack damage, like melee damage, sort of called, yeah, AD. I think it's just called general, right? Attack damage and power damage, things like that. We should probably use something like that. And yeah, I think that's good, right? I think that's okay. Yeah, and we're just going to instantiate in an attack rate, certain attack rate, and a certain when we are in a certain range. So we define, okay, we are going to decide what the range of the weapon is. That's what we're caring about here, actually. So we don't care about the attack range of this anymore. What we care here about is we're going to get the distance to enemy. Okay, so this is going to be distance to target equals this. Okay, And this is going to be distance to target. Now it's something we can read much better, way more readable. And yeah, in fact, we could turn it into a function. But if we need it again, we'll turn it into a function 100%. It'll be more readable. It'll be much better. Let's do it now. Get distance to target. Oh no, hell yeah. So we say like that, and we say get the distance to target. There you go. So we say get distance to target. So we know the distance to a target, and we want to know is if it's smaller than our attack, smaller or equal to our attack range. So what we're going to say is that let's bring some matter. Oh yes. Oh, we lost so many people. I don't know who's the brave YouTube watcher here, there, and brave Twitch watcher. I know who's watching still. I think I'm boring people. They're living. They left. Many people left. We have three people in total right now. We have a couple of people on YouTube, and one person on Twitch. How incredible is that, eh? Just left. It's just left. Just left me here talking alone. What is this grace? I'm not gonna lie. I should probably improve my performance as well. I don't know. I don't know if it's. I decided I'm just gonna come in live and do the thing, and then just yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy it. So I'm not gonna stress it out, because if I stress it out, stop doing this. So yeah, I want this to be a fun time where I just do something I love with you, and something I need to do as well, right? Because it's something I will do anyway. Much rather do it here and do it with you there, have your company. I very much like that. Okay, so we're a distance to target is smaller than an attack range. What we're going to do is enter our attack state. Now the attack range is not going to exist anymore, so it's going to be these weapons. We're going to get. We need to get the shortest attack range, right? So if any of, we need to check if any of our weapons is in attack range. So if our longest attack range, right? So the one with longest attack range is in range. That should just work, right? So we say, should we do it this way, or should we do it? Should we do the longest attack range? Yeah, I should probably say that because I think the longest attack range would work. Should probably get like the because I don't think it's. Here's the thing, we're already setting the range. Yeah. We already decided that we don't have pickups, right? And in this system, there's no pickups. We have the weapons we have. So maybe we should have an attack range, but we simply preset it. We shouldn't be like doing an array check and like an array filtering every single frame when we're selecting our state. So that's probably a bad idea. I'm still anyways, I'm still doubting our approach of using the weapons here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. The attack range in this case is going to be that of our longest range, right? Like this is going to be the weapon with the longest range. But in any case, I'm still doubting myself here. I still don't know what's the best option here. What's the best way to go? I don't know if we are doing the best with this. Yeah. I need to think about this. I should have thought about this before. I said I was going to come here with a decision pre-made. I didn't. I'm so sorry about that. But okay, we don't have that many people today, so I'm not going to do a raid because there's one person on Twitch. So yeah, doing a one-person raid feels like waste of raids. You want to raid when you have a nice party to raid with. I don't have a nice party to raid with today. Today Twitch has been slow. I don't see this like 2 people left on YouTube. So it's probably best if we just live it up for today. Live it at this, not such a long stream, because when there are like these streams that are not that long, sorry, that these streams that don't have that many people, I would much rather make them shorter and not that long. If we have a lot of people, I can keep going. Really, I can keep going, and more questions, I'll keep going and all that. But not having questions and all that, just keep developing for nobody. I don't think it's useful for anybody. So I'd much rather keep working on Rogue Engine. I'll just go back and keep working on things I'm working on. And I'm happy that way. I have some nice thoughts for functions. I'm really happy about that get all thing. It's so stupid, but it's so nice. We should definitely add that. How I didn't think that before. We should have that 100%. I love that get all for our function. So we can add that on the engine. Okay, and yes, thank you so much for joining. We're gonna leave it here. I'm gonna leave you. I think with the nice live stream we had, I think we had a pretty good run. I think we did some really cool stuff. We talked about the design of this system. I promise I will come back on Thursday with an idea already pre-made, defined in my head about how we're going to do this. Because now that I was doing the weapon thing, I was thinking, should this be the way? Are we actually going to handle weapons in this way? Is this actually the most flexible way? So I'm going to think about this. Okay, I promise I'm going to think about this today, tomorrow. And I'm going to come back with an idea already in my head about the reasons why we should go with this. And just going to say that in front of the camera, because I thought, okay, I'm just going to do game design in front of the camera. And in some cases, it's good. But when I have a decision like this to make, I would much rather come in with a, something already defined in my head. I know it would just be rewriting everything, because that's what I usually do by myself. I don't think that works too well here in this scenario. I think it's much better if we can have like a proper, proper decision already made by me, instead of going back and forth. So yeah, I think I'm happy with this for now. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Thanks, Friend Master, for all those comments, for all those questions. Great questions. If you have a question, that's what these live streams are for. They are for your questions, to answer them, and I'll be so happy to answer them always. Okay, so come back here with questions, everything you want to know about Rogue Engine, things you want to, tips you want me to give. I give tips, I help out. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. The game, as I said, is an excuse to keep coming and to give you something useful, because this is going to be eventually an RTS tower defense platform that you're going to be able to use for all kinds of games. So yeah, we're just going to leave it here for now. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, we have a bot there. We have a bot selling us viewers on Twitch. Incredible. That stupid bot is always here. Fucking hell. Yeah. It doesn't matter how many times you blacklist them, they just come back. It's incredible. All right. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for joining. I'm really glad to have you here. I'm really glad to be here. And yeah, we're gonna get back on Thursday same time, like at 7, around between 7:30 as always, in English British time, GMT. All right, mate. See you next time. Bye bye.